Greetings, Monigate. In case such doubts fill your mind, you should know that I am ever willing to lend an ear if you find your thoughts troubled. At the very least, I would have you know this, because it seems that Clelia has not. The Foreseer has been missing since this morning. There have been other times where she has disappeared without a word, but we have always been able to find her. Alas, that is not the case this day. Were the Guildmaster here, he could deduce her whereabouts with nary a moment's concentration. I find myself beginning to wonder if those who devote themselves overmuch to Arcanima are much more prone to bouts of wanderlust. But while I might wish to ponder further such oddities of character, we must needs organize a search party. Would you be so kind as to make inquiries at Hawker's Alley? It is not uncommon for Kilia's wandering to take a path through the markets. You seek a Mikote agent of Milvan's Gate. Why, yes, I have seen her. Spoke with her, in fact. She was, however, apprehended by the Yellow Jackets. The assessor was drilling me for details about a Quickwern smuggling ring based in Aleport, but then the soldiers arrived and took her away. If you wish to know her fate, then I suggest you speak with Grenade of the Coral Tower. Foreseer Kilia. Yes, we brought her in for questioning regarding the reappearance of the pirate Dasmaga. A member of the Arcanist Guild, are you? Then I see no reason to conceal the nature of our discourse. Perhaps you are already aware of this, but the Foreseer was once held captive by the rabid sea dog. Few pirates sink to such depths of depravity as Dasmaga. It has been 6 years now since he was exiled from Limsa Lominsa for engaging in the worst kind of black market trading. And now the villain has returned. He is, however, both cunning and cautious, and continues to evade our troops. Thus, we hoped to borrow the knowledge of Foreseer Kilia, whose experiences have given her an intimate familiarity with the way the scoundrel operates. At least, that was our intent. After weathering a barrage of questions from the assessor, we found ourselves, instead, providing the details of our search. Should you wish to speak with Foreseer Kilia, I imagine she has already returned safely to your guild. Back already? You were led to believe she had returned here. I am afraid not. So the Yellow Jackets told you something of her history with Dasmaga, did they? Perhaps it would be best if I told you the entire tale. Dasmaga's banishment was the result of a surprise inspection that revealed his involvement in an underground slave trade. The assessor that stepped aboard the pirate's merchant ship spoke of finding dozens of unwashed unfortunates crammed into that squalid hold. Among these prisoners was a young Mikote, destined for some black market auction block. Though Kililia was initially too terrified to even speak, the guildmaster brought her out of her fearful daze with a gift of an initiate's grimoire. Yes, the selfsame tome that she has carried her entire career. Of course, did you not mention that Kilia's grimoire was thrown into the sea? There are rumors that a Quickwern merchant of ill repute has retrieved the black market goods the crew of the Morning Star heaved into the ocean. Even now he gloats over his salt-encrusted catch in Aleport. It is entirely possible that the Foreseer's most prized possession was caught up in the Quickwern's salvage net. I have no doubt that Kilias has reached the same conclusion. To Aleport with you, Monogate. That is where you will find our wayward assessor. Yes. Combat pattern 256 should serve to cover all expected contingencies. You never know when you'll have to nullify a thaumaturge or two. My retrieval strategy is complete. Monogate, it is good of you to come. I was unable to calculate for certain if you would piece together my movements in time. Very little is certain when so many variables are involved. But there is good news. This prisoner here was kind enough to confirm that the trader who salvaged the Morning Star's jettisoned cargo did indeed retrieve a tome matching the description of my lost grimoire. Lominsan law and the policies of Milvan's Gate would support the confiscation of goods connected to an official inspection, but alas, my personal belongings do not fall under that definition. Thus, I intend to launch an unofficial offensive against this black marketeer and his cronies. peddler has already departed for Candlekeep Quay. It is time I gathered to me such allies as I possess, and I count you as one of them, Monnicate. Despite the nature of this endeavor, Mistress Trubbegrime has offered me her cooperation. If you would, pray join me at Oscorn's embrace. That is where we shall ambush this disreputable Quickwyrm. Please make haste to Oscorn's embrace and join forces with Mistress Trubbegrime. I will be along once I have made sure of my preparations. Greetings, Monnicate. Your arrival completes our small company. You are equipped for battle, I trust. We need not wait Kilia's arrival. Once the Quickwyrm appears on the bridge, we spring our ambush. The strategy for trapping our target relies on the two allies we have concealed on the other side of the ravine. This pincer maneuver was, naturally, the Foreseer's idea. As for the target himself, the Quickwyrm is known as a careful and cautious fellow. He travels with a small retinue so as to avoid attracting attention. But do not be fooled. More bodyguards follow at a distance and will likely join the fray after hostilities ensue. Do not, however, expect any assistance from the Yellow Jackets. They cannot be seen aiding us in what amounts to a personal matter, but they are willing to turn a blind eye for Kilia's sake. In any case, the Foreseer's tactics account for our limited numbers and individual strengths. Victory is all but assured. Now, let us take up our positions and wait for the Quickwyrm to arrive. Do not be concerned, I have memorized the Foreseer's strategy down to the last detail. For the moment, you need only await the Quickwyrm's arrival. Filthy ambushers, they want Kikirun's Spartlies, ambush them back. Your foul trade is a blight on Limsa Lominsa, surrender your goods at once. Grisfrin, Estota, now! Kikirun no scared. Kikirun have scary spell slingers. Conjurers, just as Kilia predicted. We shift to combat pattern 158. Monnicate, focus on the conjurers and blunt their heals. No, be late for business. This business be bad for you. Monnicate, I spy a thaumaturge. Quickly, switch to combat pattern 256. Even a lone mage can wreak untold havoc. Focus your attack on the thaumaturge first. That appears to be the last of them. Now, to find the Foreseer's grimoire. Well executed, everyone. Were you able to retrieve my grimoire? Monnicate, pray hand over the tome. It's ruined. My wonderful grimoire is ruined. The probability of repairing this degree of damage is 0%. Even the most brilliant strategy cannot undo such ravages of seawater. I have never felt so defeated. I believe it is time I return home. Leave her be. But how can I? He's right, Erstota. You must allow Kilia time to process the loss. And you have other matters to which you must attend. Come, Monagate. It is time we return to the guild as well. We'll clean up here. No one will even suspect a fight took place. Please take care of Forsier Kilia. Not quite the victory we imagined, was it? The moment Clelia beheld her soaked and tattered grimoire, you could see the light of hope die in her eyes. There is, however, something we can do. I will call on your aid soon, but in the meantime, you will be well served to deepen your knowledge of Arcanima. March of the Mandragoras. 40 summers at the Red Rooster Stead, and not once did I see a Mandragora. Until the calamity, that is. In a matter of months, the countryside was crawling with the seedkin. At first we thought them to be harmless. We never saw them feed on other plants, and they never bothered us, no matter how close we got. That is, until we began seeing smaller yields in the fields where the Mandragoras roamed. After watching them for a full season, we found that the podlings were using tiny roots on their feet to tap the soil of its nutrients. When we tried to remove the Mandragoras ourselves, we learned that they were not as peaceful as we once thought. Now we seek the aid of adventurers skilled in these sorts of matters to dispose of the nuisances. Rodents of unusual size. We haven't taken care of the Hedrick as well as we should have, what with all this arming instead of farming. The rats are as big as cats in some of those rigs, and a rat bite is no jest. What we need are well-made solariettes to shield the feet and deliver a hard kick with. Straight ain't the gate. A farm's no fort, even with stout enough fences if the kobolds get frisky. But you know, the Red Rooster's front gate is naught more than a few deals on a pair of uprights. We need a smith to craft us a shield large enough to make fast to the gates, or the kobolds will gambol right in. And that's 3 leaves done, so back to a class quest. You know what, lass? It may not be my place to say it, me being the guildmaster and all, but I like ye. I really like ye. Together there's naught we can't. What? What are you making that face at me at? No, oh no, I didn't mean like that. You're the most promising pupil I've had in God knows how long is all. I was just waxing sentimental for a moment. You can't honestly tell me you don't get a bit emotional when you've been out the night before and... Bah, forget it. Been working hard, have ya? Aye, I can tell. But this is just the beginning, lass. You see, the art of blacksmithing is deeper than the deepest ocean. And if you're planning on getting to the bottom of it, you'll need to... Sink? No, that's no good. Alright, how about this? If you mean to set sail for the faraway land of, smithing mastery, you mustn't try to make the journey in a dinghy. Bah, the hell's with it. Just make me a dozen bronze rivets less. How are them rivets coming along? Any time now, lass? Praise the builder, you've done it again. These rivets are perfect. Ah, but don't take that to mean that they're special, cause they ain't. You see, rivets have got to be perfect, and I tell you for why. If you're pounding something and your hammer breaks, you can just grab a new one. But it's a whole other story when your rivets fail. Ever seen an airship, lass? Marvelous things they are, but bloody complicated. Now imagine you're a dozen malms above Limsa, and your fancy flying boat starts springing rivets. Might be it's from the engine, might be from the hull, don't make no difference. Whatever it is, you're royally buggered. If I was on that airship, lass, taking in the gorgeous view as the confounded contraption tumbled down to the earth below, I'd be cursing them rivets with all me heart. Aye, and the half-arsed bastard that shut them out too. And you wouldn't want that on your conscience, would you? This is why you must always make quality products what stand the test of time. To help you learn the importance of quality, I want you to try smithing for paying customers. Start by having a word with Mokiri down at the wench. She should be able to point you in the direction of a few Lominsons as need the services of a talented lass like yourself. Oh, we've been doing that already. Hone your craft, earn some coin. Hells, have a drink while you're at it. The wench is always serving. He would know. And let's follow up his advice and do some leaves. I wonder if I will reach the end of the next expansion ever called before the next one comes out. A real fungi. The land around the stead is full of wild mushrooms. None of them are exactly poisonous, but they put folks out of the way for a few bells, if you get my meaning. Now we've got someone coming from the bank. You'll not hear the reason why from me. And we need a dish of mushy, so toothsome he'll eat it all. Down on the farm, the Red Rooster Stead is expanding its apothecary to conduct more preparations for the field and the like, but we're having trouble with our implements. The plant dressing we were grinding ate right through the mortar. New ones that don't mind a bit of vitriol would be nice. A fine morning to you, Monicate. And a fine morning it is for a spot of work, wouldn't you agree? This time round, it seems some eager buccaneer scampered aboard a local merchantman and made off with a shipment of muskets. Now, seeing as it ain't lawful to cloy from a Lominsan vessel to begin with, the Yellow Jackets fell upon them daft coves afore their boots was even dry. Aye, they caught the pirates right there on the docks, but the stolen boomsticks was nowhere to be found, fenced in a longbow deal, I'm thinking. That's when our guild was officially contracted to retrieve the goods, which wasn't really needful, since the code would have us had on the job anyway. You don't bite the purses of your fellow Lominsans and all that. So, this is your assignment, me netty lass. Find out where them weapons went, and bite that shipment back. Seeing as the cutters as hit that merchantmen are already rotten in irons, you needn't rush in with your stabbers a-stabbin'. I want this job handled quick and quiet, and I've the perfect partner for you to show how it's done. This is Vakebba the Stray. Ain't no other rogue what can match her in the arts of skulking. A pleasure. There's some problem, Vakebba? You seem a bit out of sorts. I'm bloody starvin'. I had one of them finger sandwiches set aside. You know, those egg-filled tasties they make at the Bismarck. But when I got back from me work, it was bloody gone. Uh-oh, that was Vakebba's? I thought it was Underfoot's. Well, you just head out on the job, and I'll see if I can stir up that missing sandwich by the time you return. Alright, Jack. Ah, one more little detail you should know. The muskets was meant for the Yellow Jackets' armory, so once all is bought, you can hand the goods to one of the culls directly. We can start whenever you're ready, Monocate. I've had a colleague keeping a Wetel out for odds that might help us, so I suggest you have a few wits with her first. You find her at the Heilin, posing as a fishmonger. Who do you have here? The lass down there. The one stinking of fish and ocean. Go over and ask her what the catch of the day is. Hello there, miss. We've carp and trout, lobster and shrimp. But I hear tell you've been looking for a special breed of fish. The long, shiny kind, what's bark will put a bloke on his arse. We don't sell that kind here, but you might try them foreign merchants. What was they called again? Ah, the Traders of the Edge. They hail from the South Sea Isles, and are known for dealing in all types of nasty splitters and cutters. I should warn you, these folk ain't the ones for questioning the source of their merchandise. In fact, they seem more than happy to pay for goods what came from below decks, so to speak. But if you're still keen to get your hands on those rare fish, then you'd best hurry. The Edge merchant what's visiting Limsa is looking to load up and leave the city before long. Just how he means to transport his goods remains a mystery though. What with all the hired blades he's got nursing his operation, it makes it hard for a girl to get close enough to eyeball the competition it does. I'll be sure to keep an eye peeled on your behalf, but it might be as you can learn a little more from the folk round town. Traders of the Edge, eh? Well, if one of their merchants been staying in the city, then someone will know something to point us in the right direction. The trick is to listen without being seen. You'd be surprised at how culls will cackle when they think no one else is about. We'll focus on places what see plenty of traffic. You can have the Bismarck, the ferry docks, and East Hawkers Alley. I'll try me luck at a few other spots. Then meet you in front of the guild when I'm done. Remember, keep hidden, keep quiet, and keep your wattles open.